Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us right here on Midday, Kentucky. David was just saying skinny TT from, and you know, because I am, you know, the shrinking TT.
You are the shrinking TT.
We're going to do new openings because I don't want to be looking like that, let me tell you.
Aww.
Okay, how are we all?
Doing great.
Good.
How are
David
you?
Goldman back on the show Thursday and Friday,
David.
filling in for Katie. She is still in
Peru. She's traveling the world.
Forgetting.
I know. She's been to so
Have you
many
ever
places.
met anyone who takes so many overseas
She
trips?
is crazy. I love it. I love that she travels like that.
They're amazing. I mean,
No, I don't need to live my life through someone else's adventure.
I am. Katie,
I am too. I
be
definitely
there.
need to.
She's having a good time.
Yeah,
She is.
great.
She's having a great
I'm
time.
wonderful. I can't wait. We have an awesome show today.
You sure?
Positive.
Alrighty. You got the good makeup on, you're off.
Yes, watch out, world. Here I come.
Hey, we need to do a little shout out to Miss Christy Lowry, one of our biggest fans here at Midday, Kentucky. A big happy birthday, my friend.
Happy birthday.
I don't know whether you're
Yay.
45 or 42 or...
Oh,
Maybe
I
she's
thought she was
29.
26. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
there we
know.
go.
We'll just have to check it out. If you know how old Christy Lowry is, go over to our Midday Kentucky Facebook page and you need to tell us because we don't know ourselves. Hey, she's ready to kill me.
Yes, she is.
is going to get you.
I wanted you guys to take a look at this. Now, you know, we've talked about it for many times that I've been in the business for 20 years when it comes to hair and beauty and day spas. But, you know, we all like to take a bit of a visit to salons and get ourselves pampered, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, but this woman's experience is startling. She found herself in the hospital after having an eyebrow and wax tint. Now, grandmother was left in hospital after her face swelled up dramatically following an eyebrow and wax, of course. Here are the pictures. Now, apparently the esthetician left the eyebrow tint on for over an hour.
Oh.
Okay.
How long is it supposed to stay on? Troy?
Well, here's the thing. Eyebrow tinting should stay on between 2 to 4 minutes. That's you really don't need to be tinting any longer than that. It has a low resolution peroxide in it.
Yeah.
So they use the tint and then the peroxide to mix it up and tint the eyebrows. And she also had a wax. Now, the esthetician actually said that she needed to leave the colour on for an hour, which is absolutely rubbish. You really don't. And if it's left on that long, you know, I'm just telling all you ladies at home, if your esthetician leaves your eyebrows on longer than 5 minutes, get up, wash your eyebrows off. Here's another thing. If you are one of those women or guys who are allergic to these type of or allergic, that type of person. Do you know what I mean? Allergic to everything.
Yeah. Right.
Normally hair products, you should be getting a test. What they do is they mix up a little portion of the tint hair product that you're using or the semi-permanent or something like that, and they would place it behind the ear. Now, you would only do this if you're super allergic to things, but within 12 hours you will know whether you are allergic to hair products.
Interesting,
Okay?
yeah.
Unless you go on the organic side of things. Okay, and you should really test this out because that's what happens to you.
Wow.
Now, could you imagine? Now, I've seen this happen in salons over the years where women have come in and they're allergic to hair care products.
Right.
What's happened is they have a thing called parapoisoning, where their head actually balloons up. And you get the look of what that lady had with the eyebrows. Could you imagine your whole head?
Oh, no, I couldn't. And the color, I mean, when we get our hair colored, it's all over. I mean, it sits there for a while, too.
It sits there. So just imagine, so a normal hair tint or semi-permanent, so a high lift hair tint should be on no longer than 45 minutes. So if you're looking at just a semi-permanent or a washout, maybe 25 to 30 minutes. So for this esthetician to say that the eyebrows should have been on for an hour, it sort of tells you that this is not the right way to do it.
That's something we do, that Allison does all the time, our esthetician, and you know, I think you're absolutely right. If you've got to have somebody I just can't imagine an esthetician doing this.
Right.
Be like, let's just leave it on an hour. We'll go with it.
Hey, listen, I'm the one, I'm lily white. I have white eyebrows, white eyelashes, and I have mine tinted every other week. And if that's not off in 3 minutes, I'm like, oh, hon, time to take it off. And I know they hate me saying that, but also I don't want to have black eyebrows.
Well, you don't want to end up like that woman either.
Yeah, well, I'm not allergic to that sort of stuff. I'll be poking and prodding for the rest of my
But
life.
you know what? If they're leaving it on for that long, even if you're not highly allergic, you could have a reaction.
Oh, I'm sure you could also.
Skin irritation.
It is, look, the thing is with eyelash and eyebrow tint, it is a softer solution. So obviously this lady was allergic to the product.
She was highly
Do you know
allergic.
what I mean? Yeah.
Is she going to sue?
Well,
Did
this
they
is in
mention
England,
anything?
so I'm not quite sure what the legal ramifications are.
Yeah.
And I know in Australia, if we did a test patch on you, and you weren't allergic, and then you came back and then you had your colour done and you had a reaction, you can't sue.
Okay.
So that I do know in Australia. Australian and English law is almost pretty much the same. Hey David, I'm moving right along now. So if you are a public transport person, I'm sure these are the issues that you go through. David, take it away.
This is real. Now imagine that you're on a crowded subway and you're looking for a place to sit and you see this man just sprawled out, taking up 2 seats. Now I love this term. This is called man spreading. And it's no longer acceptable in LA or even New York. LA is cracking down on rude subway riders with the new metro manners. And I think it's great because people...
Well, he's not really man-spreading there. Isn't that normal?
Nah, you know, that's maybe, you know, men are saying that it's uncomfortable to have their legs together. And people are saying...
Well, there's a lot going on down there, Dal.
But you still have to be considerate. You know, you're on a public transportation.
Right,
and, you know, it's not just man-spreading, but it's also, you know, basically having your purse next to you, taking up multiple seats, eating greasy food.
Right.
And the other big thing is having loud music.
Right.
And you see that a lot. You know, people have their cell phones and they'll be watching a show or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I
Have
can't
the
stand
earphones
that.
in
And
or
it's just
anything
like, don't worry about me. Bah, bah, bah. So
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. I personally, I
Who's
understand.
going to police this, David?
I know,
Well,
seriously.
it's going to be the Metro Police as well as sheriff deputies. So they're going to be the ones enforcing it. And it's really been a big thing in New York also, where they're giving $75 fines. New York said they're not going to be arresting people, but if it happens a second time, you won't be allowed to ride the subway for like 30 to 60 days.
I just can't even imagine.
So cross your legs, boys.
Well, they say, you know, it's hard for women, though, to go up and they're intimidated to say, excuse me, sir, you're man-spreading.
Yeah.
I need you to calm
I'm
it
never
down
going
a
to say
notch."
that to a man ever. Number one. The word even makes
You know,
me
there's
cringe.
too many lines there. I'm leaving it all alone, everyone.
Are they really
I
gonna
could
know?
drop out those funny one-liners pretty quick.
You stay
I'm
away
leaving.
from that.
Yeah, I am. Don't you worry.
But seriously, like, can you even imagine if you're sitting there and a
Relax.
police officer comes over and he says, "I'm sorry, I'm going to fine you for man-spreading." I mean, how embarrassing and how
Well,
awful
that's just the
is that?
terminology that they're using.
Right, but
Do you
he's
know
got
what I
to
mean?
tell him what he's going to arrest him for.
I mean, that's a
You
good.
can be arrested
That's
for
a
a lot
good-
worse. I'm
Or
sure.
fined. I
That's a
guess
great
it's not
Instagram
arrested,
picture.
it's fined.
You know, if you got that ticket for man-spreading, can
Yeah.
you imagine
I'd-
putting that on
I'd
your
photo frame
Instagram?
it.
Yeah, it's like, well,
So there we go.
I love it.
In a job interview, so you've been arrested.
But I think the thing, look, in all jokes aside, I think there is etiquette when it comes to public
There is,
transport.
there is.
Do you
I
know what
agree.
mean?
I do agree.
And I think, you know, there's some things that annoy me. Look, and I'll be honest, people, I haven't been on a lot of public transport. You know me. All right? I'll be honest. Okay?
Well, I have.
I've seen the odd
Yeah.
issue on the odd transportation in New York or somewhere.
Right.
I've never been on a bus here. I wouldn't even know where to catch a bus.
Right.
Bus stop.
You know, I went on a bus a couple of times going to school.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it just wasn't
Well,
what we did.
they're really pushing, you know, public transportation in LA because of like, you know, smog and things like
Yeah,
that.
well, I think it's a very
pollution.
good
Yeah.
idea.
So, you know, for people to actually feel comfortable while they're in transportation, you do want to have good etiquette.
Yes.
And good
and that's-
manners,
it's just-
consideration.
Hey, listen.
You have to take
just
it-
making sure you wear deodorant on public
Oh.
transport
Yeah, that's
is
the
enough.
start.
Yes.
Forget the man spreading.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Let's start with the bare bone
But what I
basics
find
here.
interesting about, you know, you were talking about people on their phones watching a video or
Right.
whatever, and they don't have their earphones in. That irritates me because, you know, I'm a real sticky beak. And I do like to see what everyone's doing on their phones. So we've said before on the show that Katie will be sitting here texting. And
You're
I'll be
looking over, he
I
does
don't have
do
a
that.
problem because you can read my text. I don't care. I've got no secrets there.
Katie's
I'm not
just like,
sending
"Give
you
me
nude
that."
selfies.
She's like
Do you know what I mean?
hiding.
Yeah. Okay, so.
So etiquette. It's all
Etiquette,
about
everyone,
etiquette.
when
We
it
need to
comes
take
to
it
the
upon
etiquette.
ourselves to have
Yeah.
good etiquette.
This is something that I didn't go to college, so I have no reason why I was fat. But this is what you're talking about, and we're talking about freshmen and what they should be taken care of
Yeah.
when they start university.
Exactly. I
College,
mean,
sorry, wrong
yeah,
terminology.
no, that's fine. Yeah, when these teenagers are getting ready to go off to college, you know, there's a lot of, it's a whole new lifestyle. And a lot of times they don't truly know how to take care of their health and how to eat properly
Yeah.
without gaining weight. So we all, you know, so what they call it is the college 15. And everybody's very familiar with it. Did you gain the
I
college
did.
15?
I
when you went to
had
college?
Yeah, freshman 15 hit me hard. Because you're eating out all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm used to mom's cooking.
Right.
And we had like healthy stuff. So it's literally you go have, cheeseburgers, pizza, you're drinking soda. I mean, just all these things that are just unhealthy.
Exactly. That's exactly. I gained the freshman 15 too.
Yeah.
Did you?
A plus, yeah. I actually gained a little bit more
Oh,
than that.
you're a 15 plus.
I was a 15 pluser. Yep. And and it was not only it wasn't only the bad food at campus, but I was also playing volleyball for Kent State University. So we were traveling a lot, and I was eating all that great food. When you're on the road
You're at
and
the
you're
buffet.
getting. Oh yes, I was at the
Yeah,
buffet
but look,
several
here's
times.
the thing though, Lisa, if you're being active like that, it's puppy fat. that
Yeah,
you're probably
until you're not
carrying.
active like that anymore.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
it all
hello.
goes awry. But yeah, so with this article that I read, what they were looking at was, how to avoid gaining this
Yeah.
freshman 15. So it says the biggest causes of the weight gain in college: high calorie alcoholic drinks.
Well, I didn't want to mention that because I was going to say,
Yes.
well, I also had a couple drinks there once in a
Yes,
while,
yes.
and I don't think that helped me.
Exactly. Well, and of course, we're not advocating underage drinking because these
No.
are college freshmen, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
generally
going
they're
to say,
underage.
aren't they under 21?
Yes, they are, but we all know as parents that this does happen, and
Yeah.
it is, and they are high in calories. The next one, late night eating and snacking. Yes, I mean, how many times?
That's-
All the time. I mean,
that
it's a
was me.
lifestyle, basically.
Well, if you're drinking those drinks, you need a good feed.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Exactly, and there's the calories. You also have cheap or poor quality cafeteria food,
Yep.
chronic stress, and also lack of sleep.
Well, can I be honest? Those last three is enough to make you put on a bit of weight. Because when I say this, you know how I feel about going to university and college and things. If it's for you, you should go. But they are put under a lot of stress.
They are.
Do you know
They
what I
are.
mean? And they are drinking
Yeah.
crappy coffee, and they've got huge student debt. They're
Yes.
cramming for exams.
Right.
Listen, I know what it's like when I'm trying to work out whether to buy a new pair of shoes or not. I've got a Krispy Kreme in the mouth. Do you know what I mean? So you can imagine me at college.
Yeah, but
You
at
would
the
have been
same
a mess,
time,
a
I
mess.
think a lot of it is just partying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
You're
is.
social, you're going out, you're with your friends, you're like, let's run.
Yeah.
Hey, very quickly, I don't know, can someone tell me if we've got time for another story?
Do we have time?
Yeah. Minute 40.
We
Quick,
got it.
Get to this one, David.
All right, this is great because, dating's become a bit of a social minefield with terms like ghosting and breadcrumbing. So getting around that, it's kind of even more harmful now when people have a new little term we like to use, and that is when somebody is actually hiding you from their family. So I think we've all had that where I know. Well, I can't say your name, but stashing is a thing that
This is
one of
okay,
our
let's
friends.
cut to the point.
Stashing. It's where they won't let you meet their family or
Wow.
friends. And they're kind of hiding you away, which I love all these terms because, ghosting, it's when someone just stops talking to you.
Right.
You're like dating, you're talking, you're hanging out, and you text them, you're like, hey, what's up? Are we going to meet up? And they're just like, no
Nothing.
reply. And then one of the catches release, that's a great one because they love the chase. Oh, I gotcha. I'm done with you. Oh, yeah. And then benching.
Well, that's more of the hunt.
Yeah, the hunter, if you will. And then benching is when you meet someone and you're like, well, I don't really know about you. I'm going to put you on the back burner. And if I like you, I'll go after you.
Well, there's another word for that.
This is like all new terminology for me, honestly. This
But
is
hold
like,
on, what is stashing again?
So stashing is when somebody brings you around and they're dating you and you guys are having fun.
So you're having a relationship.
You're having a relationship. Maybe you've been dating for about a month or so. And you're like, hey, I haven't really met any of your friends. And they're like, yeah, well, my friends are all crazy. And you're like, well, I'd really love to see
Yeah,
the family.
yeah.
And they keep putting you aside.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where if somebody's doing that, you need to be a little cautious.
I think I've been
Interesting.
stashed a few times.
I think I have
Now,
stashed a few times.
I'm just going back in my memory. So I was ahead of the time.
Yep.
Back then, I was getting stashed.
Setting
That's
the trends.
disgusting. I'm calling them right now. Hey, up next, Clark Regional Medical Centre explains the importance of immunisation for children. Keep it right here, everyone. You're watching Crave.